ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and viewers joining us on Facebook. Very warm welcome to the Rail Research and Technology Conference 2023. My name is Chayut Ngamkano, Assistant Professor from Chulalongkorn University, and
Dr. Palavi Lungsakul from IMUTT.
And we have the pleasure of serving you as a moderator today. Before we dive into this exciting event, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our host, Railway Technology Research and Development Agency, Ministry of Transport, Hub of Talent, TRRN, Thailand Railway Research Network, Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, Bangkok Expressway and Metro.
And our sponsors, Bally System and Designs, Huawei Technologies, and Westcott Engineering Company Limited.
And all our esteemed guests and speakers for making this gathering possible. And we have a captivating lineup for presentations and discussion ahead.
We shall comment today's conference agenda with the welcome sections. May I extend an invitation to all attendees to join me in cordially welcoming our distinguished inaugural speaker, Kun Sunee Lertphienthum, who served as the Chief Inspector General of the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation.
Dr. Chaitan Phomsorn, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transport, esteemed executives from the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, and Ministry of Transport, esteemed speakers and all delegates. I am honored and delighted to extend a warm welcome to you to the International Rail Research and Technology Conference 2023. This event is a collaborative effort between the Rail Technology Research and Development Agency, public organization, under the Ministry of Transport, Hub of Talent, Thailand Railway Research Network, with the National Research Council of Thailand, NRCT, under the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, MESI, and the Bangkok Expressway and Metro Public Company Limited. It signifies a conscious effort to create a collaborative rail ecosystem that brings together government agencies, academia, and the private sector. Rail system technology is of paramount importance in Thailand today. Collaborative efforts between the Ministry of Transport and MESI in terms of human resource, knowledge, and tools will accelerate research and development in rail system technology. This in turn will enable to practical application of this advancement to our country, contributing to the modernization and competitiveness of Thailand transportation infrastructure. I perceive a strong commitment from the organizing committee and the gathering of highly qualified speakers, both domestic and international, from various sectors, including government, academia, and the private sector, for the event. They will share valuable knowledge with all conference attendees, and I sincerely hope that each of you will insight to further contribute to our national development. I would like to express my gratitude to the event organizing team, the esteemed speaker, and the supporter of this event, particularly and the Rail Technology Research and Development Agency, public organization under the Ministry of Transport, Hub of Talent, Thailand Railway Research Network with National Research Council of Thailand, under the MESI, and the Bangkok Expressway and Metro Public Company Limited, and all others who have played a vital role. In conclusion, I extend my heartfelt welcome to all of you and wish for the successful execution of this conference in line with the intended objective. Thank you.
Thank you very much ค่ะคุณสุนี Lertphienthum for your welcoming speech.
Next, we have a welcome remark by Associate Professor Chotchai Cherengam, Chairman, Board of Directors of Rail Technology Research and Development Agency. Please join me in welcoming.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable guests, Dr. Chayathan Phomsorn, Permanent Secretary, the Ministry of Transport, Thailand. Ms. Sunee Lertphienthum, Chief Inspector General of the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation. Executive Distinguished Delegate from public and private agencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to welcome all of you to the Rail Research and Technology Conference, or RRTC 2023. This conference is co-organized by Rail Technology Research and Development Agency, RTRDA, under the Ministry of Transport, the Hub of Talent, Thailand Railway Research Network, under the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, and the Bangkok Expressway and Metro BM Public Company Limited. I'm very happy to tell you that the focus of this conference is on the industry academic linkage. Many times we call this approach R&D, research and development. Recently, I hear the word D&R, development and research. We must know what we're going to develop first, and then we start researching to what we want, okay? Or we call this one the demand side research, okay? Thailand, a developing country, we have been I would say accused by funding agency that many of our research are on the shelf, have not been put into use. But we look at private sector, maybe they have not done, I don't know what research, but they can put the product on shelf, they can put the facility to use quickly. Okay, so we try at the RTRDA to use the approach of D&R. We must know what we're going to develop first, and then we research. Then this conference would like to demonstrate collaborative environment and partnering practice of rail and technology research development among researchers, developers from government agency, international agencies, research institute and private sector in Thailand and across boundaries. The overall program is designed to provide rich and stimulating knowledge and experience of all participants by policymakers, Here we have Permanent Secretary and the General Director of the Rail of Thailand. Business innovators and technical researchers, they are the forefront of the rail technological innovation and development. At this conference, they will share their insights, discoveries, and visions for the future. Hopefully, their message will inspire us to push the boundary of integrated and collaborative networking and research partnership between all stakeholders here. As a chairman of RTRDA, I would like to express our gratitude to our sponsors, key partners, and dedicated co-host committee who have supported us to make this event possible. May the knowledge and inspiration from this conference become a solid foundation for bright future of our rail research and technology companies in Thailand and in this region. I wish everyone a productive and enjoyable time at this conference. Now is the time. I would like to invite Dr. Chayathan Promson, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transport, on stage for an official opening of this conference and kindly sharing with us the policy and direction of future railway development in Thailand. Please welcome Dr. Chayathan Promson.
Dr. Shochai Jalengam, Chairman of the Board of Directors, Rail Technology Research and Development Agency, all the board member, Ms. Sunee Lertphienthum, Chief Inspector General, Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be here with you all this morning to share about Thailand policy direction on rail transport. I'm glad to share with you our goals, our mission, our commitments in realizing and aiming for the efficiency, quality, and sustainability of Thailand rail transport. Talking about Thailand is crucial in driving. Thailand transportation is crucial in driving the nation economics by enabling the seamless mobility of goods and passengers, fostering economic growth and social development. However, due to the lack of convenient public transportation in urban areas and lack of proper infrastructure development in intercity transport network, Thailand had faced multifaceted challenges such as severe traffic congestion in urban areas due to excessive reliance on private cars and unreliable logistics services, resulting from inconvenient intercity transport. And most importantly, fossil fuel is the dominant energy source in transportation that significantly contribute to environment degradation. Recognizing the need for immediate action, the Ministry of Transport is forging ahead to mitigate the negative environment impact of transportation by encouraging alternative modes of transport, clear energy sources, and adopting advanced technology to pave the way for greener and more efficient vehicle. Like any other metropolitan worldwide, Thailand recognized that the rail system is a sustainable solution for the future of Thailand, for the future transport of Thailand. We have been continually developing rail system for both urban and intercity networks, intending to promote the railway as the primary mode of transport for Thailand in the future. So we do hope that people in Bangkok and its vicinity will eventually change their mobility behavior, switching from private cars to public transportation, relieving traffic congestion, air pollution, and energy consumption. At the same time, intercity transportation users enjoy eco-friendly, cost-effectiveness, and convenient rail transportation. Today, I will explain you more about how we perceive rail transport as promising solution for the future. As the Ministry of Transport, our duty and mission is to facilitate the movement of goods and people from origins to destination, both domestically and internationally, through the suitable means of transportation seamlessly. We also promise to continue contributing to enable a convenient, safe, punctual, and reasonable price transport services. To reach the ultimate target, Ministry of Transport has formulated a development strategy to improve transport efficiency for both people and freight, which comprise of three aspects. Firstly, we commit with the green and safe transport using green innovation, green transportation, technology, and alternative fuels. Secondly, inclusivity, ensuring equitability, affordability, and accessibility for people from all walks of life by applying universal and service design across the transport system. Lastly, transport efficiency, improving efficiency in utilizing suitable modes of transport and logistics to reduce logistic costs by cutting down our own energy consumption and also enhancing regional connectivity and beyond. I wish to draw attention to the last aspect, transport efficiency, in which spectrum are we referring to, and how do we, the Ministry of Transport, mean when talking about transport efficiency. By defining transport efficiency, we attach great importance into two dimensions. One is urban transport. We aim to shift away from using private car toward public transport to lessen traffic congestion and air pollution in the Bangkok and big city. The other is on intercity transport. We aim to improve intercity transport logistic capability by transitioning from rely on truck to the railway and waterway in order to optimize the logistics costs and increase reliable transport services. I will explain more about how we strive to achieve this goal and pave the way for transport efficiency. On this slide, you will see on the left-hand side, that's the existing problem. Because right now and from the past until the present, if I ask you what would one of the first thing we do before traveling from one place to another, I'm sure one of the most common answer would be to check with the Google Map what could be the fastest, least congested route we can take. However, sometimes we are left with no choice but to commute across the city through exhausting traffic to our destination. It's not overstatement to say that it could affect our well-being and daily life. As the Ministry of Transport, we strive to address the pain point by making the good public transportation more convenient and appealing for all users. We aim to create efficient transport so that people are willing to ditch their car for public transportation and enjoy a less stressful journey, which could increase their quality of life to ensure accessible and inclusive connectivity to public transportation. Convenient feeder for travelers such as public transport, boats, paratransit must be provided for the first and last mile. This is the future of urban transport that we picture on the right-hand side, and we are committed to turning into reality. The development of urban transport infrastructure is one of the key drivers for the transport efficiency. Look at the slide in front of you. This is a master plan for MMAP, or the metro map that we aiming to make it available for people in Bangkok and vicinity. We aim to build for the network, the whole network of the metro for 14 lines, 27 routes in the distance for 554 kilometers, to have the network crossing every area of Bangkok and vicinity. Right now, we already open for the public services in about 240 kilometers. We farm more than 50%. And right now, for the construction, it's about 100 something kilometers. Within 5 or 10 years from now, we hope that at least 80-90% of the whole network going to be available for Bangkokian and tourists. This is very important because the current the whole network, if it complete, it's going to be, we have to provide convenience for the people that wearing the suit like you all in the room, that be convenient to use the public transport instead of to use the passenger car. That's going to make the more room for Bangkok, kill all the problem that we have right now for the traffic congestion, the air pollution, and others. Next slide, please. As I mentioned earlier, accessibility for the public is essential to encourage the use of public transportation. Therefore, we are committed to develop effective feeder system and enabling a convenient link from residential area to the other key destination, like central business district to achieve. This is just the schematic to show you that this is going to be the model for people to move all around Bangkok in the near future. Next slide, please. Another dimension of transport efficiency, what we mean is going to be the intercity transport. We're aiming to change from what we rely on right now with the truck to use the more less cost, logistic costs by using the railway and the waterway to be able to cut down the logistic costs to improve the efficiency in terms of the competitiveness of the trading for Thailand. And another thing is we're going to be able to make it to be more punctuality in terms of the mobility of all the freight, to be able to improve the efficiency for the transportation of the freight in Thailand. Next slide, please. This is the model that what we try to achieve. On the left-hand side, you will see that this is a situation right now. If we're talking about the origin to destination, we have all the freight from agricultural products, from the industrial sector. When they finish the product, they want to bring it to the consumer or the client. They have to make the running across the country. Like it look very messy on the left. What we aiming for to be put on the right-hand side, we want to have the hub and spoke in every region and linkage with the rail system. That's going to be cut down a lot of problem that we're facing, traffic congestion, traffic accident, air pollution, make things in the disciplinary. And then we use the truck as the feeder to bring the goods from the farm, from the field to the hub and spoke, and then linkage long haul by using the rail system. If we're going to put it for the exporting, we bring it to the port. This is the kind of thing that we're aiming for. Next slide, please. But this slide going to show you that right now that the problem that we're facing because of the infrastructure for the track, we have about network of 4,000 kilometers, but it's the single track. When you have the single track, it's very difficult to control for the time, for the punctuality. That's why we have to put one of the major investment of the Ministry of Transport to put a lot of investment on the double track development. Next slide. This is what we aiming for. That we right now for the immediate phase, about 1,000 kilometers. It's going to be 250 kilometers in all directions from Bangkok. That's what we almost finished for the double track. And then the next step, we're going to continue to put all the 4,000 kilometers to be double track, to put the whole network ready. But the most importantly, when we have for this immediate phase, by the end of this year or the next year, after we finish the construction of the double track, what we have to pay attention on is the linkage or building the hub that to be able to make the flow of the freight of the good without double cost for the double handling. This is, next slide please. This is what we have to pay attention on. We have to build the efficient or automated dry port, inland container depot or container yard. This is going to be the connection to bring from the truck that we're going to aim to make it as the feeder to the hub and spoke. And then if we can do the automated dry port, ICD or container yard, this is going to help to reduce the cost for the double handling. This is what we're aiming for. That is going to be the next step that we have to pay attention from this coming year and the next year to be able to make the flow of the goods for the time and cost that's reasonable. Okay, next slide, please. Now, I'm going to bring you to take a look that as Thailand, the location of the country is in the middle or in the center of Southeast Asia. So this is going to be the opportunity for Thailand to become the center or the hub for the transportation for the whole region. Next slide, please. You will see from this slide that if you look at Thailand in the center of the Southeast Asia, and you know that a lot of goods, a lot of product or produce come from South China. If they're going to bring the good to Europe or Middle East or Africa, this is going to be the shortcut going down by the train and going out on the west side of Thailand to the Andaman Sea. This is going to be the shortcut to bring all the freight from China to their customer in European country, Middle East, and Africa. Okay, next slide. This picture that show in front of you, this is our new Bangkok Grand Central Station, the terminal. You will see how big it is. This just shows to you that what we commit, our government commit for the rail transport for the future. We put a lot of money. This is going to be the terminal that can cover the demand for in the next 20 years. And we built 4-story, 4-level of the terminal. We have the parking and the linkage to the MRT blue line underneath. The whole area of the usage area, about 270,000 square meter, is have 4-story. And the basement is going to be the parking and the linkage to MRT. On the first floor is going to be all the ticket booth and meeting place. On the second floor is going to be the platform for long distance and commuter train. And on the top floor, on the third floor, going to be the platform for high speed rail. That's going to be linked to the whole region, not just in the domestic uses. So this is just to show this new Grand Central Terminal already opened for public last year by the cabinet. That's the picture that you can see. This is just to show you how we commit for the future of the transport in Thailand to be in the rail transport. Okay, next slide, please. This is just to show the existing project for the high-speed rail. We have right now ongoing 2 lines. The first one is going to be the one that we aim to link with the South China by link from Bangkok to Nakhon Ratchasima and Nakhon Ratchasima to the border in Nong Khai and cross the Mekong River to ring in Vientiane with the high-speed rail or the mid-speed rail from China, from Kunming down to Vientiane. That's right now, you know that last year, the end of last year, that's already open for public. But this is, we do step by step. We construct from Bangkok to Nakhon Ratchasima right now, the project ongoing in construction. For about 4 years from now, we hope that it's going to be running for and open for public. The second portion, the second part is going to be from Nakhon Ratchasima to Nong Khai. Right now, the detailed design already finished. We hope that with the new administration, we're going to be open for tender. And the last part is crossing the river from Nong Khai to Vientiane. Right now is under negotiation because it's have to discuss a lot with government in Laos and also have to discuss with China in some part. Okay, the second project for the high-speed rail is going to be the linkage. You might already know from the news that we expanding the airport in eastern part of Thailand. That's called Utapao Airport, and the rail gonna helping to link between Utapao, Suvarnabhumi, and Don Mueang to be able to integrate and sharing the capacity for the passenger that can come for coming to Thailand. This is going to be the high-speed rail. Okay, next slide, please. This slide just to let you see that we commit to expand our national rail network. On the left, going to be the intercity rail network. It's going to be building more, expand more from single track to be double track. You will see the portion that we used to be 4,000 kilometers, and it's only small percentage in the double track. And we're aiming in the near future, we're gonna have more portion in the double track. When we have the more portion in the double track, we hope that we can kill all the problem in terms of the punctuality of the service by the rail. And then we do hope that if we do the good job in terms of the building the infrastructure, we do the good job in the operation of the connecting point like a hub and spoke at the container yard in ICD and also the dry port. That's gonna build up more convenient for all the freight provider. So they're gonna stop and reduce the truck rely on the train more. That's what we aim for. And on the right, that's talking about the metro line in the urban area. I already explained to you that right now it's more than 50% that already in service, and another 25 under construction. So hopefully the whole network finished, and Ministry of Transport right now pay attention on doing the good quality feeder from people to come to the station and from the station to the destination that they want to go. We want them to use the public service, public transport with the convenient, punctuality, safe, and reasonable price. And we do hope that if we can complete the whole plan that we do, we're gonna be able to release cut down the traffic congestion problem, and then we're gonna have better quality ride for people in Bangkok and the big city. Okay, next slide, please. As you may know, that Thailand used to be the called Detroit of Asia, and we possess a stronghold for automobile manufacturing. So Thailand is further the work to achieve the goal of transition from what we do right now. We is only the consumer. We import all the technology for the train, and we want to change from consumer to becoming a rail manufacturer in the near future, to reduce the import sector, import the part to be the export part to the whole region. This is what we aim for. And the key driver to enable our success is expertise in rail technology, which Thailand will heavily rely on. This is what we do. Ministry of Transport, that's why Ministry of Transport recently founded the Rail Technology Research and Development Agency, or we call it RTRDA, to be as a key rail technology R&D institute. We aim that to have this RTRDA like a middleman to help to link, transfer the technology from international, from the abroad, that we bought the rail technology from them and be able to join with the public and private sector in an academia in domestic in Thailand to be able to bring all the technology and try to come up with some industry for rail industry as a manufacturer in Thailand to reduce. We're going to start with step by step. We aim to start with all the wearable spare part. That's hopefully that we can manufacture in Thailand. So we don't have to rely on the main manufacturer from Europe, from China. This is what I try to emphasize, that this is going to be the thing that we hope that the conference today going to helping our mission to finish quicker. The next slide, please. This also for the locomotive that we using. We aiming to change from the left that we have to rely on the fossil or ICE locomotive to do on the right hand side. That's what we aim for the electrification, and right now we do the research. Next slide, please. This is just an example that we commit to do the research because we don't want to. Mainly we want to electrify the whole locomotive. That if we're going to do the same conventional way, the same way that you do in European country, that we have to build a lot of catenary. That's a lot of money. So we're thinking about how we're going to jump over that. We have the R&D, we put the support for the R&D project that it's a group of R&D group from academia, from private sector, and SRT, State Railway Authority of Thailand, to try to do the battery locomotive. This is already, the prototype already ready, and then right now we are on the testing. This is the real picture. In the area we cross doing intercity and also allow the Grand Central Station to be able to bring clean electric locomotive to bring all the train up to the Grand Station. Next slide, please. This is also the example of rail technology. We are aiming to further improve Thailand's capacity to become a manufacturer of rail part and components. The ministry stands positive to create suitable rail ecosystem and activities to accelerate the initiative in a concrete manner. To conclude my presentation, I wish to highlight key takeaways as Thailand policy direction on rail transport. First, like I already explained to you, I emphasize on firm commitment and genuine effort to be at the forefront of rail network development. Our concrete action has been exhibited through urban and intercity rail network projects, including an extensive network development, linking countries in ASEAN and beyond. As situated in the heart of Southeast Asia, Thailand is intensely ambitious to become the transport hub for international trade routes in the whole region. Thailand promised to provide transport efficiency through modal ship transport to facilitate freight and passenger throughout the country in realizing the mission of the Ministry of Transport. Thailand aims to become a manufacturing hub for rail parts and components within the next decade. As mentioned earlier, Thailand's achievement will not only benefit Thailand, but potentially scale up to also benefit other countries in the region. Therefore, as you all know, opportunities are there. Strong collaboration and cooperation from all international organizations, fellow countries, and all of you would drive forward the rail industry and help to create a substantial impact that could extend far beyond individual nations. Now, I do wish you all enjoy the fruitful discussion during the conference today and do hope to come up with any aspect of cooperation to help accelerate our goals to become in reality together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chayathan Promson, for setting the stage for our discussion today. And Dr. Chayathan, please remain on the stage for our photo sessions.
And next, we will proceed with the executive group photo session. And could we have the list individual gather on the stage for the first group photo, please? So we have Dr. Chayathan Promson.
The next one is Dr. Pishet Kunatamarak.
And Dr. Chodchai Jarengam.
Professor Suthiphon Jit Mittapap.
คุณสุนีเลิศเพียรธรรม
มิสเตอร์อวิรุธกองเนตร
คุณภัคพลสิริคันธรามาศ
คุณพัฒนพงษ์พงษ์สุภาษามิตร
คุณถาวรจรัสเสถียร
Professor ชูกิจลิมปิจำนง
ดรสันติเจริญพรพัฒนา
Dr. Kartin Luger
รองศาสตราจารย์ดรธงชัยสุวรรณศรีชนะ
คุณสมโพธิ์อาหุไนย
คุณวัฒนาสิทธิไวยทยาพร
คุณออนอนงแจ้งพงษ์พันธ์
Mr. Iwan Yu please
and Mr. Steven Jones
Mr. Philip Schusinger
and Professor สมเลิกจันทรอัมพร
รองศาสตราจารย์ดรคมกฤษเล็กสกุล
ดรเพียงอเลาหะวิไล
ดรสุเมธวรกิจสกุล
and the last one Mr. Toby Thai Penchian
Thank you very much for your cooperation, and the photo will be also available on our RRTC website. And now let's go ahead with the next session.
Yeah. And we are now moving to the opening keynote sessions. Before we begin today's opening keynote sessions, we would like to express our gratitude to our sponsor, that includes Bentley System and Designs, Huawei Technologies, West Coast Engineering Com Limited, for their unwavering support. And next, we are honored to have Dr. Kartin Luger, Chief of the Transport Research and Policy Section at UNSCAP with us. Dr. Luger will be addressing us on the case for transport decarbonization, leveraging rail and technologies. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Luger.
Your Excellency, Dr. Chayatan from SON, Your Excellency Kun Sunee Lertphienthum, Professor Chochai Charanam, distinguished speakers, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, and a very warm thank you from my side to the organizers, RTRDA, TRRN, and BEM, for having me here today. It is an absolute pleasure to have the chance to address such a distinguished group of people, and I would like to congratulate you on organizing this very interesting conference. I'm here today to try and set the scene for the discussions and site visits you will do over the next 3 days, and to talk a little bit about how rail and technology, how academia and private industry that are gathered here today in this room fit into the global agenda. As the moderators have kindly said during their introductions, I work for the United Nations ESCAP. For those of you who don't know, ESCAP is the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, and it is one of the 5 regional commissions of the United Nations Secretariat, headquartered right here in Bangkok. Just like many private organizations, the UN Secretariat is organized along regions in the world to make it a little easier to work. We represent 53 member states and about 40% of the world land area, and more than half of the global population. And if you see the little map here, you will notice that it is a very vast region and very diverse. We cover everything from Turkey all the way to the Pacific Islands, and we cover countries that are highly developed, first world countries, all the way to least developed countries in dire need of assistance. So what do we do? What is our work? And how does it relate to what we're trying to achieve here today? So ESCAP has a number of mandates. First and foremost is obviously that we assist our member states in supporting the delivery of the Agenda 2030, which consists of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which I sincerely hope everybody in this room has heard about. And we support member states in delivering on the commitments they have taken under this Agenda 2030 in order to foster sustainable development. We provide a strong regional voice. As I mentioned, we represent 60% of the world's population, and as that, we have the unique challenge of trying to build a platform that represents the interests and priorities of this very diverse group of member states. We are the most inclusive intergovernmental platform, so if intergovernmental agreements come together, they turn into binding law, and it is something that member states take a commitment to follow. We enhance cooperation between member states, and we provide extensive technical and capacity building support for sustainable development. And last but not least, we also bridge between member states and development funding. Let me give you a very simple example. If you are a city somewhere and you want to build a metro network and you want the World Bank or the Asian Development Bank to finance it, normally you turn to ESCAP first. We help you to define the project, to make it bankable, and then we make the link to the funding institutions. Dr. Chayatan has talked a lot about green energy and green transportation, and I want to talk a little bit about climate action because it is critical for our future. You have a quote here from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and the quote is actually not complete. The full quote reads, "If we do not act now, the 2030 agenda could become an epitaph for a world that might have been." So I think you can see that he's really sounding the alarm bells. And the question is, why do we need to talk about climate action? Well, let me give you a few numbers. We have 2 million lives lost to climate-induced disasters in this region right here in Asia and the Pacific since 1970. And that is more than in the rest of the world combined. In other words, Asia-Pacific is by far the most climate-induced disaster region in the world. We have also about $1 trillion, or almost 3% of regional GDP, that's been lost to the economies due to climate disasters and related results. And finally, I have another number for you. I think that's quite sobering. If we want to meet our climate objectives that have been set out by 195 nations in the Paris Agreement, we need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50%, and not in 2050, but in 2030. In other words, we have 7 short years in order to cut our greenhouse gas emissions in half. So if anybody here in this room had a doubt as to why we need a rail conference, I think the answer is right here. So this conference is timely, this conference is relevant, and I'm absolutely pleased that we have the opportunity to talk about this here today. So why are we talking about transport in this context? Well, transport decarbonization is one of the key prerequisites in order to deliver on our climate objectives. I'm sure you are familiar with the Paris Agreement, which was adopted by 195 nations in 2015, with the commitment to limit the rise of global temperatures to 1.5 degrees compared to pre-industrial levels by 2050, and to get to net carbon zero emissions in 2050. Without transport, this objective will be firmly out of reach. Transport accounts globally for roughly 1/4 of greenhouse gas emissions. In other words, every 4th ton of CO2 that is emitted globally comes from the sector that we all work in. To make things even more realistic or sobering, if you wish, transport emissions would have to decline by about 3% every year in order to deliver on the Paris commitments, when in reality, since 1990, so over the last more than 30 years, they have been growing by 2% per year. Honestly, it's not a surprise, because, as Dr. Chayatan has also explained, transport of passengers and goods is a driver for economic growth and development, which all nations want, right? However, transport is catastrophically off track to meet its climate commitments, and we have the unique challenge in front of us of having to decarbonize the transport sector without choking or jeopardizing economic growth and development. And you see on the graph here that I thought is really powerful. With the current trajectory that the transport emissions are on, we will be very far away from reaching our climate commitments. Even if we go with the yellow line, which is called ambitious policies, which mainly summarizes current commitments from our member states, from the national governments of Asia Pacific, plus measures on top that haven't even been adopted but that are available, such as carbon pricing, investments in rail infrastructure, decarbonization of energy for electric mobility, reduction in business and long-distance trips. If we do all that, which is already a very ambitious program, we will still not be able to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to the level needed in order to avoid global climate disaster. You can see the green line allows us just about under 0.7 gigatons of CO2 in 2050, which would be needed in order to deliver on the commitments of the Paris Agreement. So how does ESCAP contribute to this climate action? We provide a regional cooperation platform for our member states in order to implement their low-carbon policies, and we provide extensive technical advisory and capacity building in order to allow our member states to take more ambitious policies on low-carbon transport, and I think it's been coming through very clearly through the speech of Dr. Chayatan this morning. Thailand is a very strong partner, and it's an absolute pleasure to work on this together. One other example is we have a very strong interest from member states on transitioning to electric mobility. We're currently supporting 15 countries with their national electric mobility plans. But mind you, to all the rail professionals here in this room, normally the first order of business when you talk about electric mobility is not rail, it is electric buses. So I think rail really has a way to go, and I'm happy that we have a chance to talk about this here. So what is it about rail? I think we can all agree that from an emissions point of view, rail is certainly the best choice for both passengers and freight. If you compare rail with road, for instance, in the graph that you see on your left, both for freight and passenger, rail is 5 to 6 times cleaner in terms of greenhouse gas emissions compared to road. However, the modal share of rail is catastrophically underrepresented. It's only about 25% of goods that are being transported by rail globally. And if you look into the passenger side, it's even more challenging. Only every 10th passenger kilometer that is traveled worldwide is traveled on rail. So I want to take this opportunity, since we're here at a technology conference, to talk about digital technology for a moment. If we want that modal share or that modal shift to finally happen, digital technology is certainly an enabler that we cannot overlook because it will help us to increase rail efficiency, sustainability, and competitiveness. So I want to take a moment to talk about these 3 points that you see here. So let's talk about rail freight. And we've heard this morning from Dr. Chayatan about the ambitions of Thailand for the modal shift from road to rail, in particular for freight, and there's really no time to lose. What you see here is the share of goods and freight transported by rail on the red line in the graph, not the red line in Bangkok, and you can see that the picture really isn't pretty. In the 1970s, 60% of goods transported came by rail, and today that share has dropped to about 24%, and it's obviously been taken away by road infrastructure. Now, road infrastructure investments are not something that the trucking company around the corner can decide. That is public policy making. That's government's decisions, right? So that is why ESCAP is working very strongly in this space to work on sustainable freight strategies and to convince governments to invest into green transport corridors, into intermodal corridors, into dry ports that allow seamless handling, and to even extend and consolidate the Trans-Asian Railway Network, which I hope many of you are familiar with. But it will need the commitment not only of the member states, but also the support from the industry and the academia in order to provide the solutions that allow us to make this modal shift a reality. So much for the freight side. Let's talk for a moment about passengers. And when I talk about passenger transport, I like to talk about cities. More than half of world population already live in cities, and in a few decades, it will be about 70%. So if we do not solve the transport problem in cities, we will not solve it at all. Now, many member states still struggle with implementing urban rail projects, and I think many of the industry representatives in this room will know that the economics of urban rail are not easy at all. You have large cost overruns, usually due to underestimated construction costs. We did a survey of 58 rail projects in the region, and it was a really staggering number that we saw. The average cost overruns, not the highest one, the average cost overrun for an urban rail project was 45% versus the original baseline. So you can imagine that if you're in private industry, this is really not easy. From an operator point of view, they often struggle with overestimated passenger volumes, which then make the delivery of the operation, a profitable delivery of operation, challenging. You have long implementation times, which is a challenge when it comes to financing the massive capex you have to put up. And all of these challenges result in a certain political bias related to rail transit investments. We also have, obviously, on the policy-making side, still a lot of silo thinking, where agencies do not work together and the institutional capability is limited, and that is particularly where ESCAP comes in. We provide capacity-building support to our member states to plan sustainable, integrated, and inclusive urban transit projects. We have a few pilots that you can see here. We have an analytical framework for existing rail transport systems to diagnose the maturity and efficiency and then develop targeted plans in order to improve it. For instance, we currently started a 3-year program for 10 cities across our member states to integrate urban planning and transport planning. For me, this is absolutely crucial because if you want to avoid unnecessary trips, if you want to make your trips predictable, as Dr. Chayatan has explained this morning, urban planning and transport planning need to go hand in hand. I fully realize that this is a challenge for existing cities because they haven't been planned that way. But as we plan transport, let's align it with urban sprawl planning and spatial planning as well, and let's make sure we are efficient. Allow me to say a few words on digitalization before I conclude. I think we all know that technology can make rail cleaner, quieter, and safer for passengers, and it can make freight flexible, faster, and cheaper. There are many exciting solutions on the table. We have hydrogen trains being in passenger operation now in Europe. Talk about developments in automated train control, like communications-based train control or a common signaling standard in Europe. So there are solutions there, and in my view, the usage and the leverage of technology is absolutely critical to finally deliver that meaningful modal shift to rail that we all want so much. ESCAP is contributing in any way we can, but we're not a technical organization. So that's why the crowd in this room, I really call upon you to deliver solutions that are competitive, that are accessible, and that help to make rail more efficient. So in conclusion, I would really like to ask all of you to think about how you can contribute to the private industry, try to make rail or work to make rail effective, competitive, accessible. Engage with us. We have a transport research and education network which is open to all academic institutions willing to contribute. We have a sustainable business network which is open to the private sector to work with us. Work with us on knowledge products, help our member states to build their capacity. I see a few people here in the room with which we have already partnerships for joint publications, for training sessions, for joint events. The door is open, and if you have some money left after we've made the solutions really competitive, come and fund a project. I wish the conference the best of success. Thank you so very much for your attention. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your enlightening talk, Dr. Lucas, from UNSCAP. Actually, we have to thank to our sponsor that includes Bentley System and Linkage, Huawei Technologies, and West Coast Engineering.
And it's been a great day. I hope you had enjoyed our coffee and the food provided outside. And our morning session, we continue with the keynote session 1. We have 3 speakers for this session, and our first keynote speaker is Mr. Sompot Ahunai, Chief Executive Officer from Energy Absolute Public Company Limited, who will discuss on My Battery Train, Energy Evolution for Clean Railway. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sompot.
Hi, good morning, everyone. First of all, before I start my speech, I would like to show you the corporate video showing who is Energy Absolute or EA and what we have done till today. So please take a look. Well, I think thank you. I think the video can show more than a million words in a very short period of time. You can see that EA has developed so many innovations. We focus on renewable solutions, especially for commercial vehicle. And now we believe the battery train will be the game changer for the rail industry. Why the battery train? We believe the global force of the climate action is a key catalyst to electrify all the transportation sector. Clean energy will be used for more and more in order to accomplish a zero emission goal. However, majority of railway in Thailand and other countries still lack of infrastructure to support electrification. Battery train will be one of the best solutions to fulfill this gap. The battery train is much more efficient, enabling a significant cost saving also. Now, it is the right timing for Thailand. Thai government has invested to double rail track nationwide. The whole network is almost completed. However, the average life of SRT fleet is more than 30 years old, which is about the time to be replaced. This will be a great opportunity to revolutionize the train industry and to create a local manufacturing capability at the same time in Thailand. Rail transport will improve Thailand's competitiveness by lowering logistic costs and will enhance Thailand's position to become ASEAN logistic hub. Battery train ecosystem consists of 4 key components. The battery locomotive, which will replace a traditional diesel one. Power car, which will extend the service range of the train. And megawatt charging system will reduce a charging time to replenish the energy. And the battery swapping station will enable the train to be swapped the battery on power car in a few minutes in order to continue its journey. The technology has been patented as well. The combination of the battery swap and the megawatt charging solutions can completely eliminate the need to have the overhead catenary system, which is very costly. Interestingly, our solution has a comparable energy efficiency or even better with a traditional or even better in some certain condition with the traditional catenary system. Moreover, this solution can be implemented in a short period of time and has a significant cost saving as well. This is a very perfect situation for Thailand at this moment. We can shortening the time to electrify the whole system of the rail system in Thailand with a significant cost saving. And also at the same time, we can create a local manufacturing capability because the whole country is about the time that we need to replace the train, the freight. And finally, it's opened a new opportunity for Thailand to become a new player in the rails industry. I want to highlight again that our battery train solution is no longer a proof of concept, but it is the real now. We have passed all requested tests. Thanks for the good support from the State Railway of Thailand to give us the opportunity to test our products. The train has successfully passed the test for both shunting mode and cargo mode. That means it can be commercialized in the near future. If Thai government adopt and implement this battery train solution, I strongly believe that Thailand will quickly revolutionize rail system, become an ASEAN leader in clean railway system, and export this technology to neighborhood country or even to other regions. Last but not least, we would like to thank all related parties, including the State Railway of Thailand and the Ministry of Transport, to provide us an opportunity to test and verify our products. KMITL to provide us a technical consultancy, CRRC and ATES to significantly contribute to jointly manufacturing the revolutionized battery train together, and AES to provide a local facility to do a final assembly and testing for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sompot Hunai, for your presentation.
And next we have Professor Dr. Suthiporn Jitmitrapap, Chairman National Commission on Science, Research and Innovation Promotions, who will share a topic, the research, development, innovation, engineering and manufacture in railway system. So everyone please join me, invite Professor Dr. Suthiporn Jitmitrapap on the stage ค่ะ
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's very exciting to hear about the vision of our government sector, the Ministry of Transportation, and also our private sector industrial from Kun Sompot Hunai. Anyway, I think that those visions that we need to be our challenge is how to transform from the consumer to the manufacturer. Not only manufacturer, but manufactured by our own technology. That is essential. Anyway, I would like to tell you that the railway system research and development is like an odyssey. Why an odyssey? Odyssey is like a long journey full of adventures and a series of experiences that give us the knowledge, understanding, a long journey. I can tell you that according to the National Economic and Social Development Plan, that about 5 to 10 years that we also focus on the railway system as well as what we call the electrical vehicles. And as well, the National Science Research and Innovation Fund also gives the priority to the railway system and logistics. That you have heard already that our transportation system is very expensive and costs the time very much. 10 years ago, once the first MRT started, Thailand Research Organization Network, at that time, 6 organizations, National Research Council of Thailand, Thailand Research Fund, and many research organizations worked together and dreamed of driving the R&D towards the inland manufacture of the railway system for the future MRT lines and the new train system in Bangkok and in Thailand. But you can see, it's like pushing the elephant up to the hill. Right now, you have heard that there are 12 MRT lines and very little portion or little parts of the MRT that manufactured in Thailand with the Thai innovation. Anyway, we did not lose our hope. We found that doing that or achieving the targets of the R&D towards the innovation for the railway system require multidisciplinary and multi-system integration. In that the rail, the bogie, the control system, electronics, and everything, all that. How we can build all these researchers to work together. How we can join hand with the private sector. How we can join hand with the industrial sector, Thai industrial sector, that have the same idea that we would like to manufacture some parts or most of it in Thailand with our own technology, at least that we have ability to do that. It's more difficult, to push all the group of elephants up. Anyway, about 3 years ago, there's a reform of the higher education, science, research, and innovation system. So we have to think like all the whole chain, the value chain of all this. So we need to think about what we call the target, about the business and mindset and models that I have heard from Dr. Sampot and many Thai manufacturing industrial sector that they also would like to couch on the Thai researchers' work. They said that they believe in our ability, but how we can do that? Apart from that, you can see that all these products, or all these like a training, have to reach the standard and safety. That's very important as well. So you can see that it's much more difficult. Anyway, like I mentioned before that we have already reformed all this. So in the research and innovation system, we change the situation that we have the guiding policy for the principles that we need investment for some like a specific area. And the railway system is one of our priority that we will put more investment on the R&D on that. The second one, we need to have the collaboration and mesh together with the government Department of Transportation plan. And also we have to join hand with the universities about the personal development, both the manpower and also brain power researchers also. And how we can do the multi-center and collaboration and coordination. For this system as well, how we can secure the budget enough for the research and development. And apart from that, for the standard testing, for all the what we call the system for convey or technology transfer to the industrial sector. And also this funding scheme have to be like a multi-year plan. According to the funding of the science and research, I can tell you that right now the country agree that each year the government will allocate the money into what we call the Science, Research and Innovation Fund, but it's like annually. So according to the management of the fund, we set up what we call the multi-year continuous program for such an important part. And transportation and railway system and electrical vehicle is one of the major plan that we allow or accept to be a multi-year planning. Anyway, apart from that, how we can like support or enable all the researchers from many universities, from many departments or in many research centers like NASDA to work together. This is how the system works. And again, I think that those systems or the network have to think about all the whole value chain of the railway industrial R&D, either materials, mechanical engineering, electronics and control, and many things. This is a thing that we have already tried to set up as the enablers for R&D in the railway system. For the manpower and brain power requirements, we also think about the manpower as well. So this is also what we would like to expect. Right now, a new minister has already appointed by the king. So if the new minister asks us, how many engineers, how many people that have to work with the railway system, a new railway system, as you can see from the permanent secretary that mentioned, another 10 or 12 system lines in Thailand, how many people have to do? How many people have to do the maintenance? These are all the questions that we need to see as well. So apart from the R&D system, we also think about how to produce manpower as well. And also we expected the competency of all these people as well. According to our plan for the personnel, because I think that many or most of you are in the academic sectors. So I think that you have to think together about the essential basic knowledge for the railway system and the what we call the real experiential learning to make a competency for these people. And also the people in the work lives now need to be reskilled, retrained. So that's also matched with the lifelong learning on that. We have set up the funding to be like a static fund. So the railway system is also allocated to what we call the PMU C, competitiveness, to convey all this R&D funding to the research, match well with the topics of the railway system all over that. Anyway, we think that challenges ahead us is a good system and proper management can create more valuable work. So I need all of you to follow the system and also to cooperate, to collaborate, and to integrate. That will pave way to the best accountability. The other thing that I have already observed from the stage is that the multidisciplinary and also integration, exchange knowledge, and learn from each other is very important and is a key success for the great discovery. And the entire value chains, not only research, development, and innovation. We also need what we call the national quality system. The MSCQ, the measurement, the standard testing, everything is very important. And also, we have to transfer from the laboratory scale to the pilot scale to the manufacturer level as well. That's very important. And in the past, the funding from the government will not allow you to do that. But right now, at present, the Science Research and Innovation Fund will support all the value chain for that. That is very new concept for that. So I think that the testing and standard is very important. I have talked to the chairman of the board that before we doing something for the manufacturer, for the industry, this is the first thing that we have to do. Or else, we just only have like a pilot project or just only an example. That's very important. And during the past 2 years' time, we have already, the fund have already support the science and innovation agency, the WAR, to set up like the testing system. But anyway, that testing system, there are in some places, many places, so we try to like collaborate all together. So that is like a one-stop service for the testing and standard accepting. We have already set up a new scheme for funding for the cooperation and cooperation that is called, we call the hub. This one is we need to collect all the researchers, invite all the researchers, all the academicians to come together. For the researchers, we need them, I mean that all of you, to talk together and see what have been done already, what need to be done in the near future for the research. For you can come with a better proposal for the research and also targeted on the level of the research, which we would like to see the what we call the advancement of your technical readiness level, from readiness level maybe 1 or 2 from your basic research into like a 4, 5, 6, 7 and something like that, and that we need to have a collaboration among universities and among departments or research centers, as well as the academician. I think that most of the researchers in university also are academicians. So I would like all of you to talk together and sharing courseware, and also define the qualifying manpower, that the competency, which competency that all of the graduates from every or from many universities have together. The same, we have already included the industrial sectors that come into the hub. That I asked Professor Somrek that we need to see all the sectors together. The industrial sector may be like a chance for our new discovery or the national tech transfer to the industry, and also to make a more percentage of the local contents that made from the Thai innovation. The same, the MSTQ and QI, we try to support to have a standard, national standard, and also the international standard level for this. The railway R&D institution, I think that I may miss is like the RTRDA, maybe like a cooperation with the PMUC to do the program management, to act like a facilitator or enabler, and also coordination between the researchers, the research site, and the government sectors, as well as the private industrial sector. And the TSI Fund and National Commission for Science, Research, and Innovation will set up all this and support the hub for all the activities to bring all of you together to exchange knowledge and also to link the international. Thank you for our international guests to come and also support us as well. This is one. So the change management, how you can do your work, research in different institutions, how you can share your laboratory, investigations, equipment, everything is very key success. The speed, cost, and quality is also one of our aims, that not only do the research and have the timeline. You can see well that every minute, every hour, all the plan for the national have already worked or run, and also the same as the industrial sector. So the speed is very, very important. As well as the cost, when we invent something, how we can compare the cost with the like an imported one or the other thing. And also the quality have to be the best quality that match well with the international standards. So I think that all of you have to be like a cooperation, trust, honesty, sincerity, and integrity. And if it is like that, I think that the elephant can fly. So let's fly with the elephant rather than pushing the infants, all the infants up the hill. Thank you very much on that.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Suthiphon Jitmitipap, the Chairman of National Commission on Science, Research and Innovation Promotion, for your enlightening discussions.
Let's move to our final keynote speaker for the morning session. So our last speaker is Professor Clive Roberts from Department of Electronics, Electrical and System Engineering, University of Birmingham, United Kingdom, who will speak on ensuring railway research has impact.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, academic and industry colleagues, it's a great pleasure to speak to you this morning, or yes, this morning still. It's 6 years since I was last in Thailand. I was here in 2017, and I'm amazed at how much progress has been made, both with the physical railway system, but actually more importantly, this sort of collaboration that we're talking around today in terms of research and industry and bringing people together to push forward the technology agenda. It's incredibly impressive. Our last speaker spoke about an odyssey, and I guess I've been working at the University of Birmingham in railway research for 26 years, so maybe my career is a bit of an odyssey in terms of the journey that we've gone on from undertaking fundamental research through to the kind of things we've just been hearing about, how we make sure that we support the railway sector not only in technological developments and innovations, but also in building capability. So what I'm going to do today is share a little bit of that experience, the journey that we've been on and the kind of developments that we are having today. So you may know my centre, the Birmingham Centre for Railway Research and Education at the University of Birmingham. We celebrated our 50th anniversary last year. Nowadays we're around, it's actually a bit more than this, about 170, 180 people all working in that whole aspect of railway systems and systems thinking. We also run significant master's level programs and undergraduate programs, but mainly master's level programs for railway systems engineering and integration. And we do that in the UK, in Dubai, and in other places around the world. And that is very much around creating railway engineers that can think across the whole system. So not just developing expertise in rolling stock or signalling or infrastructure, but creating engineers that can solve system-level problems. Because most of the challenges we have today in railways are system problems. And the kind of challenges we have when we build new railways with overruns around complexities around system interfaces. So that systems point is really, really important. Back in 2018, my group received an honour from the Queen, which was very humbling. And also in 2018, we formed UCRIN, the UK Rail Research and Innovation Network, and I lead that activity. And my intention is to tell you a little bit about that because I think it's very similar to the kind of journey that you're on here in Thailand, and maybe we've followed some of that map already, and we can share some experiences. So this is our UCRIN building, which was funded through the new fund that we set up in 2018. The idea of UCRIN was to bring academia and industry closer together in the UK. As I say, I've been working in railway research for over 25 years. And we always worked along quite well together, but it was a bit hit and miss whether things were successful, whether things went from that fundamental research stage all the way through to exploitation and improving the system. And a few years before this, the rail sector in the UK had a strategy that talked about developing centres of excellence in research. And I sort of grabbed hold of this idea and put to the government, the UK government, a sort of plan for how we might do this. And what that did back in 2018 is it unlocked £92 million worth of funding for railway research. And the really sort of interesting and novel thing about that funding was 1/3 was paid by the government, but 2/3 was paid by the private industry, by private sector. And how the model works is that the government fund facilities and core underlying foundation activity, and then industry pledges to fund over a 10-year period activity in those centres. So the government is underwriting the sort of setting up of activity, and then industry has contracts to do work with the universities, with the research institutes over a 10-year period. So back in 2018, we leveraged this £92 million, and I was quite amazed when we actually managed to do this. It was a real achievement. But actually earlier this year, we've managed to leverage another £90 million. So over the last 6 years, UCRIN has been seen as a really significant success in the UK, and therefore we've been able to unlock further funding to grow the network, to grow the activity. So we started off as 8 universities and 13 industrial supporters. We are now 19 universities and 33 industry supporters funding that research. So this slide sort of shows the structure of that, and I guess the key point to this in terms of structure is that not every university is trying to do the same thing. We have expertise and we develop our own expertise. So at Birmingham, I lead the Centre of Excellence in Digital Systems, and I'll show you some of our research in a moment. But the kind of work we're doing is around signalling and instrumentation, cybersecurity, those sorts of areas. And there's also a Centre of Excellence in Rolling Stock, led by the University of Huddersfield, and a Centre of Excellence in Infrastructure, led by the University of Southampton. And those universities in the red boxes are the founding universities. And one of the really important things is those universities didn't select themselves, they were selected by industry. So there was a competition to lead the network, and then there was a competition to be part of those centres. And then what we've done in those centres is we've found other universities across the UK that feel particular expertise for us. So for example, in my digital centre, we work very closely with Imperial College, who have a Centre of Excellence in cybersecurity for safety critical systems, and we can work together to bring that railway capability from that university. We have a set of industry partners that were our founders, so they're those in the top part of this slide. We then had some industry partners that have joined us along the way, and we obviously work very closely with Network Rail and HS2, but they are on the government side. They're government organisations in the UK, so they form part of the government side of the equation. Now, last year, we had the opportunity to request some more funds, again through a competition, but we were encouraged to do this. And we'd identified over the last few years that there were some gaps in what we'd been doing. So we were very much focusing on new technologies in digital, rolling stock, and infrastructure. But we were doing less thinking about through life engineering. How do we get whole life cycle costs down? How do we look at overhaul and replacement? You know, if we buy and build a locomotive today, it's very unlikely that during its 40 or 50-year life it will stay the same. So how do we make more modular designs? So there, Siemens encouraged us to develop a Centre of Excellence in through life engineering. And what's really interesting is that Centre of Excellence will not be on a university campus. It will actually be on Siemens' new manufacturing site in the UK, with our university researchers going to work on the Siemens site. And similarly, we hadn't not done so much work on testing and validation and customer experience. And in the UK, you may know that we are building a new national test track, a 6.9 kilometre loop. And that new Centre of Excellence in Validation and Customer Experience will be on the site of the new test track in South Wales. So again, what we've moved from is having researchers on campus, and we obviously will continue to have researchers on campus, but our researchers will move to being embedded much more closely in industry. And we already have some success with that. So for example, I have a small research team working in a company called Unipart in the UK, where there's 4 or 5 researchers embedded in that organisation, but we just moved that at scale. So that's become the natural progression of how we're working. And as I say, this new funding was announced back in July, and it brought together a whole new set of industry partners. So actually 6 of our original partners funded some more, very generously, and we identified 12 new partners who are also funding. And it's worth saying that some of these organisations, some of these partners are companies of 10 people, and some of them are multinationals like Siemens, so a broad range of different companies associating with these centres. Now, one of the reasons that we're able to do this and get the political leverage is because in the UK we've developed what we call our National Rail Technical Strategy. So every 5 years, a group of us work together, consult with the broader industry. I think in the last round we consulted with over 100 organisations across the UK. to develop a 5-year technology plan. And that technology plan identifies what technology is needed to deliver the current projects in train. So in your context, this would be, high-speed rail, increased metro extensions. What would actually either make those more efficient, de-risk them, or just enable them to happen? So they're the real critical path research projects. And then what the 2030 and 2050 vision is. Now that's really important because what that does, it encourages and guarantees or supports private industry to know that we're all travelling in the right direction in terms of technology development and strategy. But it also means that we are very closely then aligned with the research that we do, fulfilling the objectives of the nation. I can't express enough how important this is in order for us to leverage funds both from government and from private industry to just ensure and encourage everyone that we're all moving forward together. And that rail technical strategy is put together, as I say, in consultation with the sector, but I lead one of the work streams and others in the sector lead other work streams. Now, what that strategy looks like, I should say, it perhaps doesn't say on here, but if you Google Rail Technical Strategy UK, you'll find this strategy online. It's all downloadable and you can see this. One of the really sort of innovations around the Rail Technical Strategy is that we now have 5 themes and we have a theme on a page. And you can see this in these slides. What this shows is, in the first column, the sort of goals that we have, what are we trying to achieve? Why are we trying to achieve them? What is the current position in this example? What was the current position in 2020? What are the stepping stones, the work packages, the work program to achieve then, in this case, the 2025 vision? And then, in this case, what is the objectives and vision for 2040? In previous reincarnations of this document, we had lots of text and nobody ever read it, I think, is what I concluded from this. And nowadays, what we have is these very simple sheets. And the real strength, actually, of these stepping stone parts is that we can see the dependencies between different work streams. So if one work stream is being undertaken by one organisation or as part of one project and then it doesn't get funded, we can identify and prioritise it in other ways. So again, each of those stepping stones has an owner, i.e. the person who's delivering or financing that research, and we report every 2 months on progress in this direction, and we start to realise that if things are slowing down in some areas or things change, we can quickly sort of be agile and change the direction a bit. It's really important for us. So now I want to spend some time just giving you some examples of some projects, really. As you can imagine, in the centre of the size of our centre, there's a number to pick from. So I've just picked 2 or 3 that I thought might be relevant to the sector here in Thailand. So at Birmingham, as I said, we look at these systems thinking, multidisciplinary, cross-industry problems and provide that technical leadership and strategic development. We really have 6 areas that we specialise on. Future railway operations and control, which including how we integrate with other modes and customer experience. Data integration and cybersecurity, so how we use data better, and how we do that in a secure way. Smart monitoring and autonomous systems. So this started life as condition monitoring, but nowadays is around robotics undertaking maintenance and doing construction. Decarbonisation of the railway and actually infrastructure adaptation and resilience as well. Introducing innovation, and I guess this is a newer theme for us in the last 10 years or so. And this is the softer side of this. This is not all about the technical side. This is around the economic models. It's about the standards. It's about how do we introduce the technology more quickly. And that work stream has been very much set the mindset for the new centres and new funding that we've just secured. And then railway education and skills, both delivering railway education and skills, but also more importantly, thinking about what future railway education and skills are needed for the next generation of railway professionals. So I'm going to pick three of these, I think, in this presentation and just give you an example of each. So starting off in that future railway operations and control area. So one of the things that we know, and actually Catherine mentioned earlier when she was talking about large projects, is large projects have a tendency to overrun, a tendency to be more complex than we anticipate. And one of the reasons we believe that is the case, having studied lots of large projects, is that lots of the test and integration happens on the right side of this V diagram. If you've never seen this V diagram before, I'll quickly explain it. On the top left, this is where we have a high-level specification for the project, put the business case together, understand what we're trying to do. We then move to the system specification phase, where we start to take that high-level vision of the project and develop a technical design. And then on the right-hand side of the diagram, this is where we do our testing and validation. Now, the challenge in most railway projects is we sort of follow this methodology, but we do a lot of testing and validation at the end. We realize there's a lot of problems halfway through the project rather than early on in the project. And so what we've been doing is developing tools to support large projects to think about this. And what we're trying to do is this idea of progressive assurance. So earlier on in the project, in simulation, in digital methods, we're making sure that the system delivers what it was meant to, the integration is correct, and therefore we're not leaving everything to the right-hand side. And to do this, we developed our own software system, something called the Birmingham Railway Virtual Environment, which enables us to develop microscopic simulations of railways, both from a signalling and operational viewpoint, as well as a power viewpoint, a comms viewpoint, a passenger movement around the system viewpoint, so many different viewpoints of the railway. So this gives you a quick example. Hopefully these videos will play. No, they won't. Here we go. Right, so this video shows the East Coast Main Line in the UK. So this is the busiest railway line in the UK. This is about a simulation of about 200 kilometres of railway. You can see the trains moving around in this railway. And here we're modelling a railway that already exists. And why we were modelling this railway is to help support the signalling upgrade to new ETCS Level 2 migration. By using that sort of simulation, we can then integrate it with other simulators, so with power analysis, and as I say, with passenger movements, we can put hardware in the loop. So now what we can do is we can start to build this virtual railway and put hardware or other parts of the railway in the loop. Again, before the railway is built, on that left-hand side of the V, we can start to test what's happening. And here's another video, if you guys can play it again. Sorry, these are on autoplay. So this is in Singapore. This is the East-West Metro line in Singapore, and we supported there the upgrade to the CBTC system, to the upgrade to the new signalling system, and also the upgrade of the power supply system. And what you're seeing here is a model of timetables running through with the railway and its individual substation outputs and the overall power and energy consumption for the network. So again, we are able to model all of this in a very dynamic, movable way before anyone starts building any of this, and we can robustly test this to make sure that when there's a disturbance, when all the trains accelerate at the same time, when all sorts of different things happen on the railway, we can ensure that the design is robust. And then another one, this is not all videos, I promise. And then if we can play this video, this is our latest project. So this is the high-speed line in the UK, HS2. So here, what we're doing is supporting the whole of that progressive assurance piece. So here what we're doing is we're modelling the resilience of the railway. The railway will open in 2032. And what we're doing is we're running it with all sorts of perturbations now and understanding how we can optimise the design, how we can improve the performance, both from an operational point of view, how we can start to tweak the specifications of the trains and the signalling system to optimise the design of the railway. And this single viewpoint enables the signallers and the power supply people, the operators, all of the stakeholders in the railway organisation to look at one single point. So this is a piece of research that has now got itself on the critical path of a national project in the UK. And it started off as fundamental research back in about 10 years ago, something like that, 10 or 12 years ago. We had some proof of concept projects. We've prototyped it on different projects. But now we're in that sort of product impact phase. We're actually changing how railways designed. And actually this work is now going forward with a real-time digital twin where we have a simulation and real-time data coming into the simulation. So we're just about to roll that out. I like this slide, and I'm going to show you a couple more like this to show you that pathway from fundamental academic research papers through to product and impact. So another theme is on smart monitoring and autonomous systems. Now, this is something a bit different, but very much work that we've been working on a number of years at the University of Birmingham, where we've been looking at how do we actually optimize maintenance? How do we make sure that we're not doing too much maintenance or too little maintenance? And in particular, we've been looking at how we can measure the track. So instead of using a track recording vehicle, how can we put a small, low-cost box onto in-service vehicles to measure the track? Now, this concept isn't new particularly. We've been doing this work for 15, 20 years at Birmingham. But actually getting this into an operational regime is quite new now. So I guess this graph here is probably the most important graph of all of this work, in the fact that the green line here, this is about 200 meters of track, and this is the vertical alignment of the track plus 1 centimeter minus 1 centimeter. And the green line on here is the measurement train, the dedicated measurement train we use in the UK, which is very expensive. We only have a couple of them. They only run round every 12 weeks, something like that. And the black line is our box that can be fitted to an in-service train. So we've got a very, very low-cost solution, giving something that's nearly as good as resolution as the dedicated measurement train. And we're able to then, because we're getting continuous measurements, we're able to monitor degradation over time very accurately. You can see in this graph on the top right how the track's degrading, in this case, across 2 entrance paths to this bridge over a period of time, and we can monitor that maintenance. We can understand the degradation rates. We can do the maintenance at the optimum time, not when we suddenly get an incident and a speed restriction or a problem. And again, we have this slide. We have the fundamental papers. In this case, we wrote these back in about 2006, 2007. This first dark picture, this was when I used to work in the lab. I made that myself. That went on the first train as a proof of concept to show this was possible, and we wrote some papers there. We then worked with industry and were able to get those kinds of graphs I've just shown you. But now working with Unipart, one of our Ukraine partners, we now actually have this as a product line being exploited by Unipart in a sort of joint venture company called Monirail. So we've taken that fundamental paper, and out the other end pops some technology that is improving the railway. And then just a third example around decarbonisation. You may know this project. It's become quite famous. So we're very interested in decarbonisation of the railway, and actually our group has its history. 50 years ago, we just focused on railway traction. And actually over the time, we've broadened out to all these other areas. But over recent years, we got very interested in hydrogen trains. We also do work on battery trains, and we're doing some work on ammonia-powered trains and all sorts of different things. But this example is just a hydrogen train example. And we'd done some work to look at how we could convert mid-life trains, so 20-year-old trains, into being hydrogen powered. So how could we take a train that was already in service and convert it to being hydrogen? So we designed this hydrogen train, and this came out again out of academic work. By working with industry who gave us a train to convert, we managed to convert an existing train in 9 months and show the proof of concept. That was then taken by the company and turned into a proof of concept, and now is available as a product. And again, this slide, the timeline here is really interesting. So the first papers we wrote on hydrogen power was with work in America, where we were working with BNSF in the US, and that was in about 2012. This next picture is not a photocopier. It is a scaled hydrogen train that our students made. And actually, that's really interesting. That was made in about 2014, 2015. And it took a group of 8 students only 8 weeks to build that. So that really gave us confidence it was possible. And, it needed to be scaled, but the technology was possible. We then, in 2018, Intertrans signed an agreement with a company called Porterbrook, where they would give us a train and we would convert it to hydrogen. And a year later, the train was running around a test track under hydrogen power. It then took a year to get the safety approvals to run that train on the mainline network and to get it up to an operational speed of 80 miles an hour. And then this is us standing at COP26 in Glasgow by the productized version of that train. So again, this really nice journey, this traceable journey from research being done in universities through to products, changes, innovation, and becoming real in the real world. So I guess the summary of all of this is universities working in the UK, but obviously anywhere around the world, have developed recognized capabilities, and we can help do this sort of stuff. Our vehicle is called UCRIN, the UK Rail Research and Innovation Network, for doing this, and it's really unlocked the imagination of how researchers and industry can work together. We have the support of government. They believe in us to be able to solve the problems. We're a trusted partner now in, for example, developing the technical strategy for the country and actually delivering some of the key innovations on those roadmaps. It's really brought us closer together in the different universities and allowed us to invest in our areas of strength. So all of the universities have grown. So this doesn't dilute things, it actually just strengthens them by us focusing in our particular area. So, just coming back to those structures, if you wanted to talk to me about slab track and the track, I'd send you to the infrastructure centre. We're not the right people to do that at Birmingham. We're focusing in particular areas. So getting the universities to focus on particular areas is really important, but it's really brought that closer collaboration with industry to us, to the point that when we had our latest funding round, we had another 12 industry partners that were not quite queuing up to join, but very keen to join, which unlocked another amount of private sector investment. Just to reconfirm those figures, so since 2018, we've had £58.1 million from government and £124 million from private industry. That's all committed, contracted, signed through this model. And really, this is all about rail transportation for sure, but it's also about just general capability building. It's about job creation in the country. It's making the UK sticky, if you like, to companies like Siemens that are international companies, to make sure that they have partners in our country, technical export and overall international investment. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Professor Clive, for the insight and show us how you develop the research and development in the UK. And I think it will be beneficial to Thai academics and industry in Thailand as well. And we are finishing the the morning session for today, and we are slightly early, and we have lunch provided outside. And yes, please.
Okay. And we are going to lunch break, but as Dr. Chu said, we finished the morning session so early. I would like to recommend your guys to take this opportunity to visit our sponsor booth outside or make a networking. So the lunch will be ready to serve at 12 on the 24th floor. Before leaving this room, I would like to recommend everyone to use the lunch voucher that you can get from our staff at the visitation desk nearby the lift. And then please present the voucher to the hotel staff before entering the dining area at 24th floor. Please note that we will be resuming our discussions and session promptly at 1:20 p.m. So we look forward to more insightful exchange this afternoon. Enjoy your lunch and see you shortly. ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับ